This is Nate, and Nate has a problem. The Mexican cartel is trying to unalive him, and he doesn't know why. So here's how this all started. One day, Nate's at work. He works security for an engineering company, and he meets this woman, who we'll call Z. And Nate thinks Z is fine. And so they start flirting, and soon they start hooking up outside of work and secretly meeting at hotels to smash. Here's the thing about Nate, though. Bro already has a girlfriend. His girlfriend is this woman, Ermelinda. And Nate and Ermelinda have been together for years. And now here's the thing about Z. Z is also in a relationship. She's actually married with 2 kids. And I don't know exactly how Ermelinda finds out, but eventually she discovers that Nate's been cheating on her with this woman at work, Z. And she is pissed. But for some reason, she doesn't want to dump his cheating ass. I mean, I guess that would be way too easy and reasonable. Instead, Ermelinda comes up with one of the wildest plans I've ever heard of to get rid of Z for good. So first she gets online and she makes a bunch of fake social media profiles, and she uses these fake profiles and secretly starts messaging Nate. And under these aliases, she tells him he's being targeted by the Mexican cartel and the Bulgarian cartel. And these cartels seem to know a lot about him. They know his name, a lot of his personal information, where he lives. And so Nate is like, what the fuck? He doesn't know how he got mixed into some real cartel shit. But after receiving tons of threats and messages from them, he starts to take all of this very seriously. And he's anxious as hell. And of course, he has no idea that it's really Ermelinda behind this whole thing. Now, despite the fact that he's anxious and believes the cartel is after him, he keeps low-key smashing with Z on the side. So Ermelinda's weird plan to scare him isn't actually working because he's still cheating. So after nearly a year of this, Ermelinda has to try something a little different. And so using one of her fake online aliases, she contacts Nate, and she tells him not only are these cartels after him, but that Z is actually a spy working for the cartel, and that Z plans to unalive him. Now, at this point, Ermelinda is contacting Nate using the fake name Turtle. So Ermelinda, as fake Turtle, tells Nate that the only way to keep Z from unaliving him is to unalive her first. And Nate hears this plan and he's like, alright. And so Nate and his new online friend, fake Turtle, they research the layout of Z's house, because their plan is to break into her house, unalive her, and make it all look like a robbery gone wrong. Now here's where it gets a little confusing. After a couple of days of planning out this murder, I guess Nate goes to Ermelinda and he tells her everything. That he's somehow mixed up with the cartel and that they're after him and that he has to unalive this woman Z so that Z won't unalive him first. And Ermelinda's like, oh my god, WTF, knowing damn good and well she's secretly fake Turtle and that she secretly fabricated this whole cartel story so that he would stop cheating on her. Regardless, Ermelinda tells him that she will help him carry out this murder. So around 3 a.m. that morning, Nate gets his pew-pew, and he and Ermelinda get into the car and she drives him over to Z's house. So they get there and she waits there in the car while he sneaks up to the house and he enters through the unlocked back door. Now, I guess Nate must have made some noise while doing this because pretty quickly Z's husband wakes up. Because remember, Z's married with 2 kids. So husband wakes up and he comes out to see what's going on, and suddenly, blam, blam, Nate unalives him right there. And I guess Z hears these shots go off and she panics and she locks herself and her kids inside the bedroom. Oh, but this doesn't stop Nate. He goes to the bedroom, raises his pew-pew, and blam, 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 he fires right through the door, more than a dozen times. And unfortunately, this unalives them all. And to make it worse, for some reason, he then takes the pew-pew and blam, blam, he unalives their 2 dogs. Then he messes up all their stuff, I guess to make it look like a robbery, and then he leaves and he and Ermelinda go home. So the next day, Z's husband doesn't show up for work, and people notice, and they call the police to go and do a welfare check. So that night, police go to the house for a welfare check, and they're looking through the windows, and they see the dogs.
Oh God. Dogs are dead. 2 dead dogs.
I need more units here.
And then, of course, they go inside, and they find the rest of the family. And so, bam, police start investigating, and they search Z's phone, and they find a ton of messages between her and Nate, and almost immediately they figure out that these two were secretly smashing. The next day, police show up to Nate's work to question him, and they ask him to hand over his phone, and he's like, how about I bring you my phone later?
How about this? How about I come see you guys later today after work or something like that? Because I got other in there that I don't necessarily want you to be like looking at, you know what I'm saying?
And of course, he denies being involved in any of this.
I gotta ask, did you have anything to do with this?
No.
But at the same time, police go and they talk to Irma Linda, and they get her in the police car and they question her. And she plays completely dumb, and she acts like she's just finding out that Nate was cheating on her.
You didn't know what?
That he was having an affair.
Okay.
When did you find that out? Right now?
No.
But police, they're not buying it. They know something's not right.
Did you go anywhere Saturday night then?
No, I was home. Well, it wasn't night. It was afternoon. No, I did not. I was here.
Are you telling me the truth?
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be covering for Nate at all?
No, he was here.
And so Nate and Irma Linda, they wait while police continue investigating them. But they know they're screwed and that they'll eventually be in prison for the crime they committed. So they're like, F it, let's skip town. And they flee and they drive from Illinois all the way down to Catoosa, Oklahoma. Meanwhile, police, they launch a nationwide manhunt looking for them. And pretty quickly, they're spotted shopping at a Walmart in Catoosa. And by the time they leave the store, police are on their way to confront them. But Nate and Irma Linda, they see them, and boom, they jump into their car and they speed away, and police chase after them. And so they pull out onto the highway, and this high-speed chase goes on for a while, but then Nate loses control of the car, and kaboom, he crashes into a median. And police pull up, and they've got him surrounded.
Car's on fire! Get out of the car!
And if you zoom in, you can actually see his SUV here crashed up against the median. But Nate isn't about to give up so easily. He knows he's caught, and he isn't sure what to do. So he does the only thing he can think of. He turns to Irma Linda, he points his pew-pew at her, and blam, he unalives her. Then he turns it on himself, and blam, he unalives himself too. And at the end of it all, police investigate, and they discover that Irma Linda was behind the whole fake cartel murder plot. But from what they found, it looks like poor Nate, he never figured it out. He actually died believing that the cartel was after him. It's wild.